All right, guys, we're going to switch gears here. Enough of the Epstein. I'm sick of the Epstein. Let's move on. All right, we're going to talk about Venezuela. Right now, there is speculation that we are potentially like inching towards possibly sending troops there. Let's watch this clip and we'll give reaction.
The Caribbean is heating up. The United States has dispatched 3 Aegis-class guided missile destroyers, USS Gravely, USS Jason Dunham, and USS Sampson, straight toward Venezuelan waters. Washington says it's about counter-narcotics, but critics see a show of force aimed squarely at Nicolás Maduro. At the White House, the rhetoric has turned incendiary. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt declared that President Trump will unleash every element of American power to crush cartels, and went further, branding Maduro's government not just illegitimate, but a narco-terror cartel.
With respect to Venezuela, President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel. In Maduro, it is the view of this administration, is not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this cartel who has been indicted in the United States for trafficking drugs into the country.
Caracas hit back with defiance. Maduro, flanked by police and soldiers, announced 300 new peace quadrants, hybrid units of military, police, and civilians. Without naming U.S. warships, he invoked biblical imagery, casting Venezuela as David preparing to strike back at America's Goliath.
The militia is integrated into all peace quadrants, term used by the government to refer to a security strategy coordinating security and communities. With the plan we are developing to activate the militia throughout the country, from north to south, from east to west, and all defensive capabilities so that no one will ever touch Venezuela.
Central to Maduro's response is the militia, a legacy of Hugo Chavez. He vowed millions of volunteers could be mobilized at a moment's notice, framing it as a patriotic shield to ensure that, in his words, no one will ever touch Venezuela. The optics could not be starker. Trump flexing naval muscle off Venezuela's shores, Maduro rallying grassroots militias at home. Both portray themselves as defenders, one of law and order, the other of sovereignty.
All right, Velma, this is your specialty topic. Probably you and Skeptic know the most. So John asked me, John is Armad. He said, what is the panel's thoughts on the U.S. entering Venezuela and Mexico to attack the cartel? Since Velma is here and she's Mexican, I'm curious on her thoughts. So Velma, have you been keeping up? They're saying that these ships are off the coast of Venezuela. What's your thoughts?
Do it. Might as well. Don't we want people to be in their country and stay in their country and make their country great again? Just like how we want Haiti to be great again. Just like how we want every, the countries that all these people come from and that are, seeking asylum. And when I see seeking asylum, most of these people aren't seeking asylum like Trinidad. But anyways, I digress. With Mexico, yes, we do have a lot of cartel issues, and for our our president, not my president, but Sheinbaum. Sheinbaum got to bend the knee, because it doesn't look good for her, and people in Mexico are waking up to the fact that they're literally about to be under a dictatorship by the cartel. It's been long overdue.
Skeptic, what's your thoughts? Are you concerned about us sending the troops in to go invade the two countries?
So I have like this theory, right? Which I have been talking about this for a long time. So the US has this imperialistic way of controlling trade, right? I've talked about this before. So Latin America is has a lot of countries that produce a lot of natural resources, oil, and a lot of other products. So the US has always had this ability to bully Latin American countries to do whatever they want them to do. But here recently, with the rise of BRICS, we have seen that Latin American countries have gained, independence. And one of the things that they're arguing is sovereignty. Like, you can't come into my country. If you come into my country, that's an act of war. And so Mexico was the first one to be told you're going to be bombed because of cartels by Trump. And the Mexican government said, we are not asking you for help. We're not saying that we need help. You have no right as a country to come in and invade us. It would be an invasion. We are a sovereign country. We're asking for respect, and we will control our country in the way that we need to. When we look at Mexico's economy, the growth of Mexican economy has gone up exponentially. It has gone up because of their ally and their trade that they have developed with China. Not only has Mexico done this, but Venezuela has also done this. So Latin America, Brazil, you have other countries that are starting to cut ties. They don't need the US as much. And therefore, the US is losing their soft power. The reason why we've given rights to Venezuelans to come to America is because we had control. America's not being nice. They don't just give you something because they want to be nice to you. They do things because it gives them a type of power over your government. They have always kind of interjected themselves with Nicaragua whenever they had the uprise of like the Democrats or whatever in their own country that were like Republicans and Democrats. America backed up the political party that was going to benefit America. So like, it is a foreign type of fight that's being done. I think that this country, the US, is handling this very wrongly and trying to instigate the cartels to attack so they can then turn around and say, you see how violent they are? We have to step in and we have to take over their government. So I think it's like the countries are reacting in a way that I think isn't smart. And I think they have allies in a way that America doesn't. America has isolated themselves because of Trump. And these Latin American countries are talking with their allies about what if we get invaded. Venezuela is against the government that they have now. I'm not saying they're not corrupt, but when they saw that America was trying to show their teeth, is how they called it, enseñando los dientes. I heard the whole speech from
Maduro.
the guy, Maduro. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, the Venezuelan people were trying to stand up against them because I know that the cartels are involved in politics. Like, that's not even an argument, right? Mm-hmm. But the way that America's handling the situation, I think is not wise. And I think it's bringing Venezuelans together to come out. I want to say that it was like 4.5 million retired military men came out in case that America actually, set foot in Venezuela. So I think it's a very ignorant way of trying to handle it.
I mean, okay, so he had this illegal election, and I know it was illegal because I have family that live in Venezuela, and they've actually left Venezuela because of how rough it's getting. Mia, I know you keep up a lot with things that go on around the world. What's your thoughts on us going to Venezuela, and did you keep up with the most recent election there?
I didn't keep up with the most recent election. I concede that there are a lot of countries in South America and all over the world that are very corrupt. I mean, a lot of people in this country think our elections are corrupt. I mean, we have no room to talk at this point in time. I mean, everybody's election's corrupt. My biggest thing is I operate from an America First narrative. America First and what's best for us. What's best for us is to not stretch ourselves so thin when we have so much internal shit going on. We literally have children starving here, but somehow we're going to send 4,000 Marines to Venezuela. It just doesn't feel America First. To be honest, it feels... Oh, there we go. Always cut me off, Greg. Always cut me off.
It was me. I'm sorry. I was trying to hit my stupid. I hit the wrong button.
It feels, you guys remember weapons of mass destruction after 9/11? It feels just like 9/11. They told us a lie. They said, oh, this is going on. This is going on. We need to go there. We need to save those people. Conveniently, there was all that oil out in the Middle East. Conveniently, Venezuela sits on 3 of the largest oil reserves on the planet. Conveniently, we need to go save them from their convenient dictatorship. Conveniently, we need to go and show a force. It's all convenient at this point in time. We need to stop propagating angry men. We have 3 generations of angry men in the Middle East. We're never going to have peace there. The last thing we need to do is go into South America and propagate more angry sons and daughters who are going to have children to hate us. It makes no sense from a geopolitical standpoint to lie, cheat, and steal. Invaded country, we don't plan on setting up bases there. We're going to go there. We're going to create 2 to 3 generations of people that hate us and more terrorists. What is wrong with this country? I don't get it. Why do we keep propagating hate and terror all over the world? I'm sorry, but I agree with Skeptic. It doesn't make sense. We need to stop propagating hate and generations of people that want to unalive Americans. And this is exactly what's going to happen if we go into Venezuela under the pretext of drug cartels when they sit on the largest oil reserves on the planet.
All right. So for someone that actually does keep up with geopolitics, the problem is their countries are corrupt. The drugs are funneling through, and the only way to stop it is by stopping the cartels. Enzo, what's your thoughts?
So this is a problem that we created at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and 80s, I mean, we propped up these cartels in South America and helped them out through the most notorious one that we all know of was under Reagan, the Contra scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started the war on drugs, which at this point you can just look back on and the drugs won. So with what Trump is doing with invading or threatening to invade Mexico as well as Venezuela to take out the cartels, I'm going to sit here and say, good, invade them. And anybody who stands against you stands with the cartels. Therefore, which the Alien Enemies Act, which they signed into law, or they signed, and the Supreme Court held up, anybody designated in under the Alien Enemies Act is a T group sympathizer or a T group member at the end of the day. So if the Mexican and the Venezuelan government wants to back them up, then therefore you're designated as a T group. So let's actually have the war on drugs. Let's actually cut out the bullshit and say, oh, we're actually stopping the flow into the country. No, let's actually do it. Let's fight the people that are bringing it into our country. And yes, the whole argument is 90% of the drugs that come into America is brought over by American citizens. Yeah, but who's giving it to the American citizens? We don't talk about that. It's the cartels at the end. Who's the ones manufacturing these drugs? It's the cartels. So let's take out the cartels, actually stop the war on drugs. And I'm going to look at this as America first, because one of the biggest unalivers in America is drugs that flow through our southern and northern border, therefore unaliving American citizens. My approach, as well as Donald Trump's approach, is to cut that off altogether. I can care less about the implications on the oil or whatever. They could sell it as, oh, just going after the drugs. And if they actually cut that off, sure, cool, great. Take the oil after that. That's the spoils of war.
Kamal, what's your thoughts? The war on drugs was a havoc on the Black community. What do you think?
First of all, Enzo, that was funny as fuck. The drugs won. I will agree. Second, I wish you was an adult when Reagan was around. It could have, hey, the war on drugs is the cartels and them people over there, not the Black Americans over here that we ain't got no boats or no shit to get it over here. You feel me? But at this point, I'm kind of in limbo with this shit. Cause I'm for them going over there and fucking with the cartels and stopping all the fentanyl coming over here and shit like that. But in my heart, I don't want them to spend our tax-paying dollars because there is better things we could spend our tax-paying dollars on. That's just how, it's like I'm conflicted when it comes to this. Usually I'm not conflicted with things, but I am very much conflicted when it comes to this issue because I see the need to go over there to stop the source of certain drugs. Yeah, I said certain drugs. I didn't say all drugs. I said certain drugs. You feel me? Like the Fenty and all that. Yeah. But I also know that our tax dollars need to go to us in America because we got a lot of shit over here that's going wrong. This make me feel like You know the like a man, he start a family over here, and that family like, you ain't about shit. And he like, okay, I'm gonna just go over here then. And then he just start another family, knowing damn well his money needs to go to this first family and shit. Kind of feel like that. That's how I kind of feel about it. But I digress.
I'd rather the money go somewhere where we're gonna do something rather than in Ukraine. I'd rather
you
I
goddamn
know where
right.
my money's going.
Or why do you keep doing that? Why do you
And
keep
I,
doing that?
I agree with you
that's
1,000%.
my
Uh,
bad.
all right.
That's just me though, because
It's not about drugs. It's about going over and basically controlling countries. That's why Blackwater, now known as Constellas, is in Haiti. That's why they started talking about going to Venezuela, because now the U.S. has a private military, just like Russia, where they go into these countries, say, this is the reason we're coming in here, take control of the countries, and then the U.S. government gets paid on the back end. They just say drugs to get the population to agree with them doing this. But we basically have a private military, which is called Blackwater.
Okay, Mia, you can rebut now. I know you said you want to go because Gray needed
Yeah,
to go.
so I guess the only rebuttal I have, and everybody's brought up fantastic points. I would say we're looking at it from two different aspects. Invading Venezuela is a top-down solution where really what we need to do is who is consuming the drugs? People. So it stands to reason that if we spend money on mental health treatment centers, getting people elevated and meeting their basic needs, they would no longer consume. I could be around a variety of drugs and not take anything because I'm not an addict. So it seems to reason that it makes more sense to bottom up. If we take care of the Americans, we make sure their needs are met. They are naturally not going to purchase the drugs. You know why? Because they're not consuming them, because they're clean, they're working, they have water, they have a roof, their children are set. They won't consume. So drugs will naturally stop coming over. So it doesn't make sense to destabilize normal people that are trying to survive at top down when we could fix Americans and go bottom up. Is my rebuttal.
I'm from Miami, Florida. Okay. So I've lived around all these people coming through my whole life. Okay. And I've lived around the amount of drugs that come through Miami. And let me tell you, you can send an addict to rehab. And if they don't want to change, they're not going to change. But what stops an addict is by limiting their intake, by limiting the drugs coming through, by stopping the crime, by cutting out the gangs. We are never going to clean up America until we help our neighbors. And everybody likes to say, oh, y'all don't want to help the people coming through. But we can't continue to be a refugee center and if we don't help our neighboring countries. I applaud President Trump for going after barbecue in Haiti. I applaud President Trump for going after Maduro and the fake illegal elections he did there, because those people, they don't want to be here, most of them. They want to be in their home country, and he's trying to clean up their home country. That's the reality.
Can I add this on here? The number two schmugs that the CTELs bring into America are cannabis, and the other one is like the candy. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the number two drugs that Americans are being unalived for are the Fetty Wap and opioids. The fact that we're making this whole invasion as if attacking the cartels, number one, these cartels are in the political realm of this country. So attacking the cartel is going to instigate them to attack you back. And now it gives you an excuse to come in and take over what? They have all of these resources, which is what the US wants. Like the fact that we sit here and say that the only reason why we're doing this is because of the American people is, again, I'm going to use this word, hypocritical, because we defunded those people. We defunded the people that need Medicaid and Medicare so that they can't go and get help, being in these facilities to rehabilitate themselves. So it's interesting that you say like, oh, we care about the people, but why don't you care about the people that are in the US? But you want to go out into these countries and you're not going to take over the CTELs. They're in the political realm of things. The majority of the schmugs that come to America come through what is it called? Like legal ports. They're coming in through the legal ports. You're not going to overtake the government of Venezuela. The government of the Venezuelan government is corrupt. By attacking the CTELs, what do you win out of the situation? What does that stop?
See, this is the thing. What about the people who, and I'm gonna say whataboutisms because it is a whataboutism. All the people who came in underneath the Biden administration, you don't think that was an attack to us as America, as far as who's bringing in the drugs? Because they did. Many of the illegals were caught with drugs.
Who are the number one people that bring illegal drugs to America? Is it undocumented immigrants or is it U.S. citizens?
Could be both.
No, actually, by FBI
No, what do you
statistics,
mean?
it's
What do you
US
mean? We have
citizens.
U.S. citizens here
Enzo,
who are
Enzo
who
just
have
said,
who have connections to them. You do know that, right?
okay, so
We
Enzo just
we do
stated,
have that because there's
Work for
two
the
different
cartel state.
sides.
okay, so let me respond real quick. So by FBI statistics, 80, I want to say it's high 80s, close to 90% of people that bring schmugs to America are US citizens. You just kind of pivoted into illegal.
No, I didn't
Hold on,
pivot
hold on.
because
You
statistics
pivoted into
change.
illegal immigration
Statistics
when we're
change.
talking
It's
about
both. It's
we're
both
talking
people.
about schmugs
It's
here.
both
The
people
people
though.
that are bringing
And I'm talking
schmugs
about illegal
are
immigrants
US
who came into the
citizens.
country,
They're
who
US
literally flooded the
citizens. They're not.
country, and you're literally talking about safety here.
Okay, I'm talking
Skeptic.
about
And like I said, it
illegal
doesn't
immigrants have
matter. It
nothing to
doesn't
do
matter
with
if it's
trying to bring
American
in drugs
citizens.
because
They
it's US
work for
citizens.
the cartel. The cartels
That's
are
what I'm
the
saying. It's
governments
both
in these
sides here.
countries.
Again, okay, can I
They are the
respond?
governments in these countries. We should not be. I'm sorry. There should be no friendly play with the cartels because they're an illegitimate government.
Yep.
Like everyone says, they want to come to this country because it's safer and everything like that. Let's make their country safer so they can go home. So
Do
they
you know
don't
how
have
many
to
people
come here
can
have
I
died?
illegally
Do you know
respond?
how
Can I
many
because
people
they're
respond?
have died because of political violence in
Can I respond?
Mexico?
Or
Just so Shane Monk could get into presidency. Do you know how many people? Because how you stated that the cartels are in the political realm. Yes, they are. They will unalive. I'm on TikTok. Oh my gosh. They
No,
will.
say that
I'm
word.
so
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
because it's still
They
YouTube. It's
will,
okay.
get rid of people who they want to get rid of just so they could be able to be in power. You
okay,
do understand that, right?
but
Because you did
can
state
I
that.
have the time to respond? Okay,
I
Yeah,
mean,
go
I
ahead,
think
both.
Skeptic.
we've been
Okay,
letting you rebuttal and
okay,
talk all this time. I've
seriously.
been quiet, you know.
yeah, so I want to say this. Number one, you brought up the illegal immigrants, which is why I was saying the
Mhm.
statistics because it was pivoting off of the schmug issue that we're having. Okay,
But I'm
so
telling you
when
the
we talk
truth, though.
about, so let me answer and then I'll let you talk. So when we talk about the schmug issue here in America,
Wow,
talking
hypocrite.
about undocumented immigrants, when we're talking about people that are bringing over schmugs, I'm giving you an FBI statistics. The majority of schmugs, I want to say it's in the high 90% that come into America, come through a legal port of entry into the US. Think about that. Legal port of entry into the US. When I'm talking about corrupt governments, I'm not talking about Mexico, I'm talking about Venezuela. If we
Yeah,
want
and
to
they
talk
come from
about,
the other sides
let
too. It
me
doesn't have to
say
be a
this.
legal port of entry.
I'm gonna say this and then you can come in. When I talk about Shane Bong, she divorced her first husband because he was caught taking money from a corrupt group, political group, and she ended up getting a divorce over her first husband. So I don't have any proof. I don't know where you're getting your proof that people were unalive for her to go into politics. She has fought corruption, and one of the main things that she stands on is not taking money from CTELs and trying to stop the CTELs from coming to
So
America.
can you explain to
Whatever
me how her
it is
people are
that,
literally
again,
like protesting against her?
I'm about to land my plane. And then you can come in. So
Yeah.
so can I talk or
Land your plane.
So when we talk about corruption in Venezuela, there are ties to the guy that's like leading Venezuela to CTELs. When it comes to Shangbong, if the US is asking her to make deals with CTELs in order to bring down them bringing, schmugs to America, and she makes a deal and you turn around and call that corruption, how is she supposed to come to an agreement with CTELs if she can't make a deal with them for them to stop bringing schmugs to America?
See, well, that's the thing. She's already made a deal with them, and she's acting like she hasn't.
And what proof do you have?
Why do you think her own people are literally protesting against her? They're waking up. They stopped her. I don't know if you've seen the video, but they stopped her right in her tracks. She had to get off of her nice car to speak to these people because they wanted her attention. And the reason why I bring up illegals is because it's both ways here. Doesn't have to be from an illegal port of entry. It could be under the bridge. It could be, I don't know, in Canada. It could be anywhere. They're coming in from everywhere. They're literally coming. There's another caravan coming. Did you know that?
Under Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Under Donald J. Trump, there's a
Did-
caravan coming.
there's another
when like
caravan coming
90%.
thinking that they're going to come through Mexico when Mexico literally closed their southern border. How come they can close their border but we can't? I wonder. That's kind of hypocritical, right?
Okay, can I respond to a few things or?
Yeah, Skeptic, let this be the last thing because we got to pivot
Okay.
out to the next
So I'll
topic.
say this. If there's issues in Mexico and they are upset with the president, it's not because of anything that she's done or because she's corrupt. I'd like to know what factual information we have to say that, because other than that, it's just somebody's opinion. But I will say this, they're upset because America is coming at Mexico in a way that number one is wrong. And it's like trying to basically go against their sovereignty. Mexico wants the president to stand up in a tougher way, and they feel like what she's doing to respond, she does like a briefing every morning to the Mexican people, and she explains to them what she's going to
For
do.
their health.
Mexicans are getting, again, I didn't interrupt
For
you,
their
so
health.
I'm gonna finish my point if I
Right,
can
but this is
without
the
being
thing that
interrupted.
you're kind of doing the same thing to me, so I
I don't
kind of
want to
return
say.
energy to sender. So this is the
I
thing.
literally
Yeah, okay,
waited
land your
until she
plane.
finished.
Land your
So,
plane. Because I got a rebuttal to that too. It's okay.
so can I finish or not? I'm gonna keep on getting interrupted.
All right, go ahead, Skeptic.
Okay, again, I'll start over. Anyway, she sits down in the morning and she does a briefing with the Mexican people to explain to them how it is that she's going to handle certain things. Tariffs was a big thing that the Mexican people didn't want to happen. They didn't want to agree to tariffs from Mexico because they understood that it was going to bring down trade. Mexico is America's #1 trading partner. So Mexico has a lot of American companies in Mexico, and the Mexican people would be devastated by tariffs because it would bring down, basically the amount of product coming from Mexico being sold in America. That's what tariffs does. So, she briefs her people on it. If there's an issue that Mexicans are having as of right now, it is that she's not being tough enough on America. It's not because of corruption. Again, I have seen no proof. I'd like to see proof on how it is that she's tied up to CETOs when she's coming up and trying to come with agreements for CETOs to stop bringing schmucks to America.
All right, guys. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. It's been done. It's been done. Let's move on, y'all. But thank you guys. I appreciate having two sides with Velma and Skeptic. I know that it's both y'all countries, and I know it can get very passionate.